Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Pip and we are in my messy kitchen because I wasn't planning to film today, but life happened. So I was out this morning watering the garden and there was a lot of loose leaf lettuce. So I harvested it and I've just dropped some of it at my best friend's house because she's on a health kick. I am becoming obsessed with the microbiome as a result of trying to fix Rafa's health problems and therefore my own. And I am actually starting to see some pretty significant change in myself just using things like probiotics and kombucha, which leads me to, if you guys know how to make kombucha at home and you know a trustworthy kit to buy, then let me know because I think I'm going to go down that route. Anyway, so now we have all this lettuce that we've got to deal with, and in theory, I really enjoy salads. I just never enjoy them when I make them. I'm a big fan of a Caesar salad, but not when you put any anchovies or anything like that in it. Then that's not cool. I remember once I was in the south of France, probably like 20 years ago, with a friend and her family, and I was trying to be on my best behavior because, you know, I was young and they were kind of including me in their family holiday, which meant I wasn't paying for a lot of stuff. And anyway, so I ordered a Caesar salad at this place that we went to, and I remember being horrified that it was like 35 euros, although in my head it's like 50 euros, probably because I felt so robbed. Anyway, so this $1 million salad came and it was supposed to be a Caesar salad, and I was pretty stoked because I was hungry, and it like had anchovies all through it, and so it was like the most expensive wasted salad in the world. The goal today is to make a salad that I like, and on the other end of the spectrum, to sort out a birthday cake for Ruby Tuesday. So Ruby is my niece. She is turning 6 just before New Year's Eve, and in a great surprise, a 6-year-old child has chosen a frozen themed cake. So I've been delaying working on this because of the stupid freeze dryer. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know I recently got my freeze dryer. It took 9,000 years to arrive from America, and it cost $5 billion because the Australian dollar is like the euro and is compared to the US dollar. Anyway, so it arrived, I set it up. I was the dumbest kid in school, didn't turn on the pump. But even when I did turn on the pump, I can't quite get the vacuum to seal where it is. Of course, it's the weekend, which means I'm gonna have to wait till Tuesday, Australian time, to hear back from someone in the States about what I'm supposed to do next. So I was hoping to freeze dry raspberries because Ruby Tuesday loves raspberries, and use that to flavor the cake, because I was thinking of a white chocolate and raspberry cake because her parents have bought frozen models to put on the cake, and then I've been put in charge of the cake. I made her first birthday cake, which was a rainbow unicorn, and then of course last year, I think it was last year, she said she wanted a rainbow unicorn cake, and I said, you've already had a rainbow unicorn cake, and she goes, yeah, but that was my first birthday, I don't remember that. And I was like, I put in so much effort. That cake took me 13 hours. So one of my friend's parents makes this cake that is basically just biscuits and cream and mushes it together, and it's so good. It's so good. Like, I was depressed that I missed my best friend's son's birthday last week because I was in Sydney picking up Ladybird because they were having this cake because he loves it. That's how good it is. I was thinking that perhaps I could do 1 layer raspberry white chocolate and 1 layer biscuit cream thing, but I don't know if it molds, and I don't know if it'll hold together as a cake, so I need to experiment with that today, which is going to be so depressing. Just so depressing to have to eat a biscuit cream thing. I don't know how I can deal with this enormous load that has been dumped upon my shoulders. So I'm going to dabble with that today, and I thought if that doesn't work, or perhaps it's going to be too heavy to sit on top of a raspberry white chocolate cake, then what I could do is maybe mold the biscuit cream cake thing into like little snowmen and mold them into balls and then freeze them, because I'm gonna have to construct this cake in Sydney at my parents' house in their kitchen, and I'm probably not going to film that because my parents will think I'm insane, particularly my dad. My dad has more of a potty mouth than I have, so that'll mean I basically have to censor the entire video, so there's no point in even trying. Long story short, starting with hopefully an amazing salad, which means I'm going to put some bacon in the oven because Caesar salad has bacon, and that's about the only time I really like bacon. Occasionally, after a night out on the town, I don't mind a bacon and egg sandwich, but it has been a long time since I had a night out on the town. Has it been a long time since I've had a night out on the town? I'm going to put some bacon in the oven, and I'm going to get the rest of this salad going, and hopefully it's going to be tasty, because that would be really amazing if I could like a homemade salad. I would really be chuffed. Plus, it's lunchtime. I haven't eaten anything yet because I never eat breakfast, which is something I need to remedy. So we're probably going to make breakfast for the rest of the week as well, which is just going to be a little bit of chia pudding because, as I said, I've become obsessed with the microbiome, and apparently healing your microbiome is all about fiber, which means I need to get more seeds into my diet, more blueberries, although I have a lot of blueberries, more almonds, and more other stuff with fiber. So that's the goal, plus a frozen cake. Let's do it. I should probably mention that this is a new camera, so apologies if stuff is blurry when it shouldn't be. It's just I'm getting used to it. Raffy Staffy broke my other camera. It wasn't broken, but the viewing screen was a little bit dicey. So that is off being repaired. So again, apologies if my cameramanship is not as bad as it normally is not as clear and focused as I would like it to be. And also, side note, look how cute he is. Look how tiny and cute he is. He's a little pork chop. He's fast asleep. Don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but he has a little upside down heart on his chest. My little puddin' pop. I thought I had defrosted shortcut bacon, but because I apparently can't read, I have actually defrosted salmon. So I did actually incidentally defrost some other bacon the other day when I thought I was, again, doing the shortcut bacon. So unfortunately it's going to be, actually I think this is the shortcut bacon. Anyway, I thought I was defrosting the strips. So it's unfortunate, but this salad is going to be whatever it's going to be, and the doggies are going to get some salmon for dinner because I don't eat salmon. So that was Raffy Staffy's salmon. I was going to try and dehydrate it into treats, but I can't be bothered. So yeah, salmon for dinner for them. I don't know if I told you guys Ladybird's adoption story in the previous video. So Ladybird, we're her 6th family, and she's only just turned 13 months old. She started off with a breeder, and then that breeder gave her and her brother to a hoarder. I'm pretty good friends with Rafa's rescuer, and she said that it is very unusual that a hoarder would give up the dogs, so she's actually lucky to have escaped. And then the hoarder couldn't cope with 2 puppies, so that she gave them to a guy who was awaiting a hip replacement, so was very physically compromised, who obviously then couldn't look after 2 dogs, who then gave them to some dude who lived in an apartment who didn't keep them in, and somehow they got out. And when they got picked up by the shelter, they called him and said, "Your dogs are here, mate." And he said, "Well, I don't want her, I only want him, so I'll come and get him." And that left little Ladybird in the shelter, and she was terrified when she arrived there. And they said she had no reactivity to anything, and to be fair, she showed no reactivity to anything when we rocked up. And she met Rafa, and we took him for a walk. We went for a walk around the shelter, and she wasn't reacting, possibly because she was just so terrified. And now when I take her out on walks, she's a bit hit and miss whether she's reacting. Yesterday, there was a dog walking behind us, and then when she turned and saw it, she tensed up, which is fair enough. And then I think that dog was a reactive dog, and it went off, and that made her go off. And then Rafa's between my legs right now looking for, I don't know, dropped food. And so then I got her to settle down. We went around the corner, and then we saw Raffy's friend, which is a blind micro dog called Cuddles, who always woofs when she sees people for the first time because she doesn't see who they are. And she gave a little woof, like she's like this big, gave a little woof, and that just sent Birdie off the rails. And Rafa was trying to settle her. He bound the leads around my legs, and over I went. So I'm missing some skin, and poor little Birdie was like traumatized after that for a good couple of hours and was not so good on her walk today. So I'm hoping that over time, as she decompresses, things will settle, because she's obviously been through a lot already. I know the lighting's a bit dodgy because the storm is rolling in, but I thought I would show you guys. We had some carrot success. I mean, I know we harvested these together the other day, but still so exciting to have some good carrot success. I didn't realize before that I was leaving them in the ground for too long, which was why they were becoming woody and cardboardy. I mean, I suspected that, but I thought when they had green tops, it just meant that they weren't done. But what it actually means is they've been exposed to sunlight. So I was leaving them in for way too long. But I did get some dodgy carrots, the old pants carrot. Hopefully you guys could see that. Plus a very questionable looking carrot. Anyway, so back to behaving like something other than a 5-year-old. I am going to get these peeled up because I can't be bothered to scrub them clean because I cut my finger open with a knife yesterday. I've got celery here, some tomatoes that were on sale at the supermarket. I've got jazz apples, which are my favorite, although I tasted them and I'm pretty sure they both taste like and look like Royal Gala apples. So they may have been false advertised, which is a great travesty because jazz apples are where it's at. I've got some cucumber here, and I'm going to chop up a mango, and I think that's everything except the bacon. One side of the oven was like torched and the other side is not even done, so go figure. Anyway, I've got 2 little puppies who need some apple. Raffy Staffy gets very upset if you don't share your apple with him, and very upset if you don't share your banana with him. He's actually off sulking because I didn't give him the apple already. Oh, very good. Puppies, sit. Yes, very good job. You want to try some fresh mango? You got to sit, darling. Sit, Raph. Oh, yes. You've only ever had frozen mango. And Ladybird hasn't had any mango because she's only ever had crap food before. So the puppies are now hanging out for more mango, which they're not going to get because fresh mango is expensive and we need it for the salad. But they do eat a lot of frozen fruit. It's a lot cheaper to buy frozen fruit, and Raffy thinks that anything that's frozen is a real treat. Ladybird thinks that anything that's frozen is poison. So she needs to have some education, but she is coming around. When we first got her, I had to hand feed her, and even then I struggled to get her to eat anything at all for a while. But I started her off straight away on raw food because she already had a bad tummy from being at the shelter, so no worries there about upsetting his stomach switching foods. And now she loves her raw food, and she's gone from being entirely suspicious of anything new I give her, and especially if I've mixed anything in, like her probiotic or her flea and tick treatment, to just wolfing down anything that I give her for the most part, although you can see there's still some textural curiosity with fresh mango and new flavors, but she's generally a lot slower than Raph. I just pulled the bacon out of the oven, and it had been in there for no more than an extra 90 seconds because one side had overcooked and the other side hadn't cooked at all, and it came out torched. So I can basically draw with my bacon now because it's almost charcoal, but we'll try it anyway and see how we go. And then while that was happening, I thought I heard a rumble, and I thought it must be the dogs mucking around, and then I realized they were at my feet, and I thought, we're only supposed to get 1 or 2 mils of rain today, so it can't possibly be like a big storm coming. And I looked on the radar, and it's a huge storm coming. So I had to rush outside. Oops, I wasn't watching it, I see you got through. I had to rush outside and get the clothes off the line and close all the windows inside so the rain doesn't come in like it always does when it rains. And Raph has brought his piggy into the kitchen. But okay, it's time for lunch because I'm starving, and this is one of the things that annoys me with salads. They take so long. So what I'm going to do for a dressing is lemon juice, balsamic vinegar, and then my best friend said she normally puts in a little bit of brown sugar in with it, but I thought I would put in some freeze-dried blueberries. This is from pure blends, and I bought these a while ago just to kind of try and see if I liked freeze-dried food and to see if it was worth the investment of a freeze dryer. And in the end, I opened these after I got the freeze dryer because I just decided the freeze dryer was worth having because of like inflation and everything, and I wanted to get it before everything got too much more expensive. And opened my finger wound again. Can't wear band-aids because I'm allergic, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I thought the freeze dryer would help against inflation, and I'm just going to put this together now because the dog is making a horrible noise destroying his pig, and let's just see how this goes. Whoop. That's a little bit too much, but oh well. I always freak out at the idea of test tasting salad dressings because I just hate the smell of vinegar, and so I'm always worried I'm just going to taste vinegar. I even worry about putting it in food, but everyone's always like, it'll cook off, and so I'm always like, Tastes like balsamic vinegar! Tastes like balsamic vinegar! I feel like there's not enough blueberry in that. I don't know how, because I put like 25,000 blueberries in there. Oh. Whoa, that's rough. Okay, we're going to use that sparingly. I don't know if we can make that better. Tastes like balsamic vinegar. Whoa. We're going to put more lemon in it. At least I know it tastes like lemon. Oh, it's better than balsamic vinegar. Maybe it still needs a little bit of sugar in it, even with the blueberries in there. I thought that would certainly be enough to substitute for a little bit of brown sugar. Okay. It's way less toxic. It's quite lemony now, which is a lot better than before. Oh god, balsamic vinegar, so gross. And yet on a roast veg salad, with quinoa, I quite like balsamic, but I do find vinegar distressing. Oh dear. So easily traumatized by food. I might put a little bit of sugar in there. Oh, now I can actually taste the blueberries. I still think it needs a little bit more sugar. Okay, so let's put this together and hopefully get a decent salad out of this. It'd be so depressing if I hate it after all this work. Although, it would not be surprising. I'm not even sure if putting blueberry in your salad dressing is a good call when there's bacon in the mix, but I was kind of hoping the saltiness of the bacon, given how much I enjoy salt, might get me across the line. So I haven't used all the lettuce, just in case I find this toxic. I'm going to put the dressing in now, and the dressing, I don't know if you guys can see this, is the most beautiful purple, courtesy of the blueberries. And see if I've stumbled across the greatest thing in the world, or mankind's most avoided combination. Okay, let's give that a go. So, piece of bacon, piece of mango. Oddly, totally fine. I think these other bits of bacon are too burnt. Okay, so the moment of truth. Let's try this with hopefully a bit of everything on the fork. Get a bit of pork on your fork. I don't know if I can get everything on my fork, but it's good, but the carrots are a bit woody, I think, again. Not as bad as last time, but a little bit. And actually, I feel like it needs more bacon. Really, the main letdown is the carrots, because being a little bit woody, you can kind of, you're definitely aware that they're there and they're not as sweet as they should be. But otherwise, not a terrible combination. Oh, Rapid just sat so I can't step backwards. Now, I'm pretty sure this bacon is way too crispy. Yep, too crispy. So, I'll just eat that as is. Not bad. I forgot to put the shelling peas in. I love shelling peas. And I'm only gonna get like 3. I read that peas should be watered quite a bit initially, and then once they've kind of germinated, you don't need to water them as much anymore. And of course mine germinated, and then we got 85 mils of rain in one day. So, you know, there's only so much you can do. And everything out there now has fungal infection. But like, I don't need to prune my tomatoes because every day I'm out there plucking leaves off and just dealing with fungal infections. And unfortunately, the fungal infections with the shelling peas seems to have started at the bottom of the plant. So on the actual stem, so there's nothing to pluck off, which is unfortunate, and I just lost a bit in there. When I was coming back from the supermarket earlier, whoa, they're like jam-packed in, whoa! When I was coming back from the supermarket earlier, I was approaching a bus and we both had to stop because it was a little echidna that decided to walk across the road. And that's the second one in the last 2 weeks. And they always walk so slowly across out into the road, not realizing what havoc they're creating, which is totally cute and fun. And then they decide halfway through, they're like, "Oh, I've done the wrong thing," and they turn around and go back. So the person's always just about to go, the bus was just about to go, and the echidna decided to go back across their path again. It's just so cute. I love living in this area and getting to see stuff like that. It can get a little bit like spooky when at my old house, the kangaroos used to come a lot of nights out the front of the house. They don't seem to, or I don't hear them as much here. It might be why Rafa barks sometimes in the middle of the night. But anyway, so there was a really loud thump outside the window one night, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And because I live by myself, like, you want to have someone there in those moments to be like, "Hey, you go and check, because I'm just gonna hide under the doona here." So anyway, so I peeked out, and there were kangaroos out there. And when I opened the door to like take a photo, because my family wouldn't believe like they were at my house, and I opened the door and this huge kangaroo was just like, "See ya," and he was like right on my front doorstep. So you get to see some pretty cool stuff down here. So this salad has homegrown lettuce, homegrown shelling peas, although there's really only like 3 of them in there, and homegrown carrots in there, and that's about it. I hope that I'll be able to grow everything except the bacon. My cucumbers have finally started to appear and do something, but I don't think they appreciated the cold snap. Apparently, we're about to get Arctic winds again, so it's basically November. It's the 31st of October today, and apparently it's going to snow again. So I don't know what country I'm living in. Clearly not Australia. You know, I'm really surprised, but actually mango, apple, and bacon is a fantastic combination. I'm glad that this cake is a quick one because I am rapidly losing the will to go on, because Birdie got us all up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I am a night person. So words are hard now. I got out the KitchenAid, which unfortunately last time I was trying to be good and clean and it bent the duvalaki here, you know, English challenging. Now, Kaz said, and Kaz is my best friend's mum, to put a dash of vanilla essence in with the cream. So this is with whipping cream. Can you tell I've started to fade? And she said a dash of sugar, all very technical in the measurements. So I'm gonna do like maybe half a teaspoon or something. And I might put a squidge bit more vanilla in. Whoops. Okay, and now it's time to whip this up. I find it really hard to know if I've got enough cream. I always end up with too much, but it goes in with these Arnott's Ripple biscuits, which I've never seen or eaten before, at least not knowingly. And basically all I do, apparently, Kaz said, is you just slather the cream on, and then you just kind of keep loading the biscuits into the tray with the cream on, and then you leave it in the fridge overnight after making sure they're thoroughly covered. And they just kind of become soggy overnight and become amazing. I suspect I haven't got enough cream or biscuits, but I've got more cream in the bottle, but I only bought 1 pack of biscuits because I thought for a wheat intolerant person, this is more than enough to take for the team. Not that I mind, because this was the tastiest thing ever. But you can freeze this. So what I'll do once it's all done is you cover it again in cream, and then Kaz said to cover it with grated milk chocolate, and then pop it in the fridge overnight, and that's it, you're done. Easy as pie. It's so not going to be enough biscuits. But at least it'll give me an idea about how well this kind of holds together. It's like the ultimate cookies and cream cake. It's so hot today. I don't think the cream is appreciating it. But, I mean, it's a good trial run. It's actually more humid than anything because that storm didn't end up coming through. It ended up burning out before it got here. But it's a good trial run because Ruby's birthday is in the height of summer. So, a good test to see. So I'm just going to maybe make a bit of a semicircle, seeing I'm onto my last, maybe 6 or 7 biscuits. Okay, so I'm just gonna grate some plain dairy chocolate over the top, and then I'll pop it in the fridge to do its thing. That's all I've got for you today, guys. I'm gonna try and go and get the blueberry out of my shirt and tidy up the kitchen because there's a lot of dishes now, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, even if it was a bit mental at times. And we only made half a cake, but tests need to be done. Hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for hanging out with us, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. I don't know why I thought this video was done. Of course we need to see how this turned out the next morning, and I'm really sorry if you can hear a lot of noise. We did end up having a massive storm last night, and today is hella windy. So, whoop. Yeah, that's the kind of morning we've got. So, the first thing I've got to do, apart from break the cake, but is to see how movable this soggy biscuit cake is. Now, you can see our half a cake, one side has cream on it, but where the cake tin was, doesn't. So I don't have great hopes for this being of enormous structural integrity. I guess I'm gonna have to come up with an alternate plan for Ruby Tuesday's birthday. That will probably just involve a white chocolate raspberry cake. This is a very tasty cake. Big 2 thumbs up from that perspective, but a massive fail in terms of finding a way to incorporate this into Rubes' birthday. Hi guys, just editing me jumping in to say that it turns out the chocolate ripple cake, which is an Australian delicacy, cannot be frozen. It is not meant to be frozen, but it is meant to be eaten. Very good. Very good.